Dr. Amit Gupta, sir, in absentia, respected Director Campus, Professor Dr. Sachin Yadavji, Registrar James Greater Noida, Professor Dr. Aran Rajotia ji, and HOD Department of Law, Professor Dr. Pallavi Gupta ma'am. And all the HODs of different departments, James Greater Noida, my dear colleagues, friends from academic and industry fraternity, and my dear research scholars. As we have seen yesterday, it was really a very enriching session as the topic of our faculty development program is law, artificial intelligence, and the digital society. So I believe we are going to continue this, and today we'll definitely bring more insightful conversations. In fact, more thought-provoking ideas. So without further ado, without further delay, I want to congratulate all of you for joining this FDP. And I would request Ms. Amrita to take us through the first segment of the today's schedule. So I welcome Ms. Amrita, and I am pretty sure that this conversation for the day is going to enhance our knowledge, going to give us fruitful results. May I request Ms. Amrita?
Thank you, sir. We hope you all are ready for another exciting and informative day. So before that, let's begin by hearing a report on day one from Dr. Rumi Ahmed. Ma'am, please.
A very good morning to all the dignitaries, including respected speakers. As I can see, our resource person for our technical session, Dr. Neeti Saxena, has already joined. Good morning, ma'am. A very welcome. Today is the second day of the FDP, which is titled Law, Artificial Intelligence and Digital Society, organized by Department of Law, James Engineering Management Technical Campus, Greater Noida. I, Dr. Rumi Ahmed, now going to give you a brief idea about the yesterday's session, and it's a report of day one before we start our sessions for day two. The first day of the FDP was started with a warm welcome note by anchors, followed with a Saraswati Vandana, and the August gathering was also addressed by Professor Dr. Pallavi Gupta ma'am, head of the department, James Engineering Management Technical Campus, and Professor Dr. Sachin Yadav sir, campus director, James EMTC. We had an opportunity to have with us Professor Dr. Preeti Saxena ma'am, Vice Chancellor, Himachal Pradesh National Law University, as keynote speaker of the inaugural session. In her address, Dr. Preeti Saxena ma'am had emphasized the role of teachers as mentors with technological foresight in a digitally transformed society. Moreover, as artificial intelligence has already interfered in the legal education too, so artificial intelligence need to be considered in a very positive manner as the subject is to capacity building and shaping the pedagogy as Preeti ma'am has opined. She rightly had give opinion that the three pillars, that is human rights, justice and accountability, should be considered seriously while applying the artificial intelligence. After the inaugural session, the first technical session started, and the speaker of the day was Mr. Amit Nagar, Sessions Chair, Asian Law College, and he discussed on use of artificial intelligence in judiciary, bail, or both. In his talk, Mr. Nagar explained how the artificial intelligence, namely Google Gemini, Apple, etc., focused on deep thinking and how the data are trained. Mr. Nagar also added how the phase 3 of Supreme Court e-court system is not only about access to justice, but also to ease the justice system. Artificial intelligence tools like Subhas and Sutesh, etc., are designed to assist the judges in justice delivery system. And later on, Mr. Nagar also concluded that artificial intelligence should only be used in assisting the judges only. Further, the day proceeded with a discussion session in the post-lunch, which was moderated by Dr. Simi Berg, Associate Professor in JIMS. A detailed discussion took place on the recent Kerala High Court guidelines on responsible use of artificial intelligence by the lower judiciary. The participants presented their views and opinions. The convener of the program, Professor Dr. A.K. Tyagi sir, also informed about the formation of groups for the presentations by the faculty participants in the upcoming days. The day concluded with a formal vote of thanks by Professor Dr. A.K. Tyagi sir, who is also the convener of the faculty development program. And this is all about the yesterday's events, which we really enjoyed. And without further delay, we're looking forward for our technical session. Thank you so much.
मैम आपको तो लेंगे थोड़ा सा टाइम ले लीजिए वेट कीजिए तो कोई भी वैल्यू ऐसा करनी है आप Thank you so much, Dr. Umi Ahmed, for your insightful recap of yesterday's discussions. It's always a pleasure to reflect on the highlights of the previous day, which sets the tone for the exciting sessions to come. Now, let's dive into our first expert session of the day, titled Regulating Online Hate Speech, Misinformation, and Content Moderation. In this digital age, these issues have become crucial for maintaining a fair and balanced digital society. To guide us through this topic, we have the pleasure of welcoming Dr. Nidhi Saxena, Associate Professor at Campus Law Center, University of Delhi. I would like to introduce you all to Dr. Nidhi Saxena. She is an Associate Professor at the Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. Prior to this, she served as an Assistant Professor in the Department of Law at Sikkim University, Gangtok. At Sikkim University, she held multiple roles, including Program Coordinator for the National Service Scheme from 2018 to 2023 and Nodal Officer for Yuva Manthan, overseeing both online and offline activities. Dr. Saxena earned her PhD on the topic of cybercrime, misuse of electronic technology, a legal study in the light of human rights from Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Lucknow in 2009. She has successfully supervised 5 PhD and 4 MPhil. She authored numerous scholarly works, and among her notable edited books are Cybercrime in 21st Century, New Dimensions of Intellectual Property Rights, 21st Century Pandemic and Society, Pandemic through the Prism of Law, Law at the Crossroads, Jurisprudential Rendition, and Greening Intellectual Property for the Protection of Environment, Renditions and Prospects. Her academic contributions include papers published in both Scopus indexed international and national journals focusing on cybercrimes, cyber laws, and intellectual property rights. Dr. Saxena has delivered approximately 70 talks on the topics such as cyber laws, cybercrime, human rights, and intellectual property at various institutions and universities. Her expertise has led her to participate in numerous national and international conferences, symposiums, workshops, and training programs. She has been invited by institutions such as Sikkim Human Rights Commission, Nehru Yuva Kendra, Police Training Center, and the V.D. Giri National Labour Institute to deliver lectures. She has also collaborated with various educational bodies, including the Indian Society of International Law, and holds the membership in multiple national and international organizations such as IUCN Academy of Environmental Law and the American Academic and Scholarly Center. Additionally, she has also served in various administrative and advisory capacities at various institutions she worked, including the roles in Disciplinary Committee, IQAC, School Board of Social Sciences, Internal Complaints Committee, and the Board of Studies. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Pallavi Gupta ma'am, the HOD of Law Department, to felicitate our speaker of the day with virtual bouquet. Thanks, ma'am.
I welcome Dr. Nidhi Saxena, Associate Professor, Faculty of Law, Delhi University. I hope your deliberation will enrich this session and will educate us on the topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Dr. Saxena's extensive expertise in digital law will surely provide us with valuable insights. Let's welcome her.
Thank you so much. I would like to help in sharing my screen. I hope the screen is visible to everyone. As already discussed that today's discussion or deliberation is on regulating the hate speech, misinformation, and content moderation. Uh, we are living in the age of artificial intelligence, internet, and we all are aware that how, it's easy to communicate with the help of internet or social media. But I would like to take you back in 1859 when John Stuart Mill actually argued about the freedom of speech. See, I'm not just going to speech on freedom of speech, but we know the strong association of hate speech, misinformation, and even the content moderation with the freedom of speech and expression. So, the idea of freedom of speech and expression, or the idea of expression, how, 1859, John Stuart Mill actually expressed, and he highlighted the association of freedom of speech and expression with hate speech. So, in 1859, John Stuart Mill argued that all, ideas, even false or offensive, it doesn't matter what is the idea. The idea can be offensive or it can be false. It should be allowed, as the justification provided by him was that the truth emerges through open discourse. So if you need, if you want to know what is the, the truth, what is behind the behind this theory, or what is behind this, what action may be taken with this idea, you need to allow them to speak. So awareness was very much associated with the idea of freedom of speech and expression. He, in the same time, argued, or he actually warned against the tyranny of the majority, and that may suppress minority view. And for that purpose, if you allow them, it will come into, a public platform, and it will let the people know what is right and what is wrong. However, in his idea of allowing people to speak up, he said, or he acknowledged a limit on speech and expression, and he said that speech that causes direct harm may justifiable and be restricted. So he actually said that it's always important to take care of the speech. Allowing someone is not allowing to speak whatever is there in his mind should come forward. He emphasized that it should be restricted also. So I mean, he actually gave this idea of the idea of the relationship of harm principles with the speech. I mean, we even can discuss that there are Mill who is asking or emphasizing on the idea of harm principle. And he says that yes, speech is the freedom and speech should be allowed, but only speech that harms others' right or safety may be limited. So he's not saying that all the speech should be limited. The speech that can lead to harm, that can cause harm to public, should not be allowed. So I mean, this particular discussion, or this particular lecture is going to discuss that particular idea, that how, I mean, hate speech is affecting human life, and specifically in the era of technology. So I'll start with some of the objectives that I wanted to discuss with my audience, and that I will be taking care during this presentation. Of course, it's not just my lecture. I too wanted to learn. So my objective is to understand what are the definitions, because I mean, how you will know which speech is harmful, which speech should be restricted. I mean, how to find that what is wrong. In some cases, it's actually very visible that you can find what is harmful, what is harm speech. But in certain cases, it is invisible threat that you cannot find what is harmful. So I wanted to learn the key definitions and the distinctions between hate speech, misinformation, and disinformation. Sometimes misinformation and disinformation are getting, they can be actually they can confuse people. So what is the difference? And even the malinformation. So this is the one thing that I will be trying during my presentation to understand. And the second idea or the objective behind this presentation is to identify the constitutional and statutory frameworks governing online speech in India. And I'll select comparative jurisdiction, because when it comes to technology, when it comes to information technology, IT, AI, we all are aware we are still in this stage of developing nations. We are doing well, but there are countries who are, I mean, can set examples. There are two countries who can be examined to understand how we can go ahead with our legal modifications. The third idea behind this presentation is to explore the role of platforms like social media platform, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I mean, a lot of the platforms emerging here. So I mean, the intermediaries, what role they are playing, how they can actually regulate this hate speech as an intermediary only, and the algorithm in the dissemination and moderation of online content. My objective is very limited with legal perspective. I'll avoid to touch the technical aspects. Now I have taken two propositions, and that I will be carry on or in this presentation. Like I've divided into the human rights based regulation and duty of care in intermediary liabilities. Because what I understand, when it comes to freedom of speech and expression, it's actually wide, and internet, where you are not aware where is the geographical border, where it starts and where it ends. You are exercising your human rights, you are violating human rights of others, and it's actually uncontrolled. Internet is uncontrolled. Its potential is unexplored. We are not aware how it's going to be utilized in in an hour. You may heard some news happening here, something, and it actually happened. We have experiences where we were completely in shock because of the use of the technology. Like I should say, before 2020, very few were aware the potential that internet was carrying. In 2020, the pandemic realized how much potential it can actually do. We were not in trouble because we could communicate with each other with the help of internet. So, it's not we who are still, in the era of technology. There were people who never ever, imagine, could have imagined that what internet can, how internet or technology can be utilized. So, with that, I am taking a human rights perspective where human rights of speech and expression is not just involve a lot of things are there. So I just have this proposition that governments and platforms should adopt content moderation frameworks. We are still lacking it because we are not aware what is misinformation, what is hate speech, what is disinformation. And for that purpose, we need to understand that it is an obligation on the government and certain platforms like social media platforms or any other platform, websites and all, need to adopt content moderation framework grounded in international human rights law, especially the principle of legality of information, the necessity of information, and the proportionality of the information they are spreading or circulating. The second perspective is a liability perspective. The first is, of course, the duty-based perspective in one sense, but the other one is the liability, and liability in the form of duty of care on the part of the intermediaries. Anyone can be intermediary. So here the proposition is that digital platforms should be legally obligated to exercise a duty of care in moderating harmful content, balancing free speech with public safety. We are aware that a lot of things are happening on internet, and every time the people are asking, or even the government is mandating that remove this content and moderate this content, limit this content. Even we all are aware, even it's not just hate speech, where they need to take care of moderation of harmful content. In other also, they are under an obligation. So these two propositions I will be taking here in this presentation. Just I have taken a definition of hate speech. I just wanted to start because when we are going to understand hate speech, what can be hate speech for the purpose of a particular incident. So hate speech is, in general, everyone is aware that it can be called as any form of communication that can be spoken, written, or even symbolic communication. It's not just the communication, it's communication that belittles, incite violence, promotes discrimination against individuals or group based on attributes like they can target the groups on the basis of their religion, their race, ethnicity, caste, community, gender, sexual orientation, nationality, or disability. It's still there. The communication should be should be affected or should be influenced with that particular ideology, and it should actually affect the religion of any other person. So hate speech is just this. Then with regard to hate speech, of just small discussion on the legal or the laws available right now. We have BNS, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Yeah, it was IPC that was regulating it, but not in the broad sense. But yes, they included some of the provisions in BNS, and even the Representation of People Act is also there to handle the issues of hate speech. And even I would like to cite the Supreme Court ruling as well. We will be discussing in detail, of course, a little later. But the hate speech in India is regulated in this way. Now, another important term is misinformation. We need to understand how hate speech and misinformation can be, distinguished, can be actually how you will identify it. So misinformation is false or misleading information shared without malicious intent. It differs from disinformation, which is deliberately deceptive. When you say hate speech, you are saying the person is targeted based on his religion, his ethnicity, his race. But in misinformation, sometimes it's not deliberate. We are getting so many messages on WhatsApp or other social media platforms saying something is happening, and it's actually going to affect this incident or that incident. This cannot be hate speech, but misinformation. So, misinformation is required to be analyzed, because we need to understand what information is hate speech, and on the ground of hate speech, how a person can be prosecuted. So misinformation is also regulated in India with the framework under BNS, like false statements that causes public alarm or incite enmity are punishable, and if it is prejudicial to national integration, it is punishable. Also, if furnishing false information to public servant is also punishable. We all are aware. Just wanted to say that it's not hate speech. Rather, I should say hate speech was not actually handled before misinformation. Misinformation was initially taken care by the law. Then, there is one more important thing with regard to this misinformation, because IT rules 2021, they even mandated that platforms who are having such kind of information, or if they have unlawful content, okay, and they need to then remove this unlawful content and trace originator from which actually these informations are originating, and in certain conditions why they are. So I think this is another thing I people are aware, that when it comes to tracing the originator or the source of information, I find, it's my opinion or what I understand, it's not very difficult on internet to find the source. It's very much possible if you have resources, if you have technological infrastructure, and if you have competent person, it's very easy to trace. The challenge is to cut them. The challenge is to trace them, to find them, but the original source can be easily located. It's possible to locate the source. Now, the third important term that is a part of my this discussion is content moderation. Okay, content moderation is again a issue. What I saw, nowadays. The young generation, the youth is very much involved in it, not with the criminal intent, but without knowing the outcome or the result of their action, they are doing it. So, content moderation, as per the definition, like it's a process of reviewing, filtering, and managing user-generated content to ensure it align with platform policies and legal standards. So, this is a kind of like sometimes you're getting information, the song has been removed because it was against the policy of the platform and something like that. So content moderation is possible at different, you can say it can be classified or it on the basis of their stages. So just have given a picture like pre-moderation, post-moderation, reactive, automated, and hybrid. So pre-moderation content is the content that are reviewed before publishing. It's actually, it happens very less in most of the time. It's not possible today. When enormous information can be generated in just a second, then it's not possible to pre-moderation. But yes, there is a policy, that can be a policy of some of the platforms where they are reviewing before publishing. I should say, like the journals publishing you know um, research papers and all, they are taking care of content moderation, and they are doing it as a stage of pre-moderation. There are post-moderation also, and in this post-moderation, content is published first and then reviewed. I mean, sometimes they are reviewing it, sometimes they are doing it on the basis of the information they are getting from people, or sometimes requests when they are getting, like in the case of Twitter also, it's sometimes post moderation. And reactive users report content, we can even classify it further, where it's not just some of the platforms are having only post moderation kind of content moderation policy. Some are having reactive, where the users report content and moderator respond on that. Most of the social media platforms are having this kind of policies. And actually, mixed match policies are also there. Automated are there, where AI filters content based on the keywords, patterns, and they are not even allowing the publication, or they are moderating because they find that the keywords are alarming, and on the basis of that keyword, content can be moderated. And hybrid, where combines human and AI moderation. We are not just the artificial intelligence is taking care, but also final say is with the uh, humans. So these are the three things I wanted to go. I hope my slides are moving, because I can see my slides are moving here before me. I can see my slides only. And if it's not there, I would like an intervention from the organizers that slides are not moving. My slide now open is why there is a need of regulation. It's just I wanted to discuss why, because this why is a very important factor that will tell us how. Why is not just a why. I mean, like some kind of clarification provided that this is the reason that we have to go ahead with the regulation of hate speech, or rather it's not hate speech, it's speech only. Okay. Or misinformation, or this the content moderation. No, why is leading us to how, because as I said, we are still struggling to find what is the thin line that separates speech from hate speech in certain cases. Okay. So I have taken care of why with these four angles, like social and political impact, spread of extension. I'll take them one by one. So the first one is social and political, um, social and political impact. See, hate speech, I mean, so many incidents I have covered in my presentation, where society was at the target, where they were targeting these hate speech, false informations were targeting society, and sometimes political also. So, I mean, regulating speech will help us to regulate or maintain social order, and even it will provide a political stability. How? How is this possible? Because we are searching why, and then how, because it may ensure fair access to information and even digital platforms. Sometimes I heard, I mean, during pandemic it was used to say that it's better not to watch TV, because you will be actually in trouble because of the information that you are getting on actually from news, like it's coronavirus is going to kill this much people, and it may affect your actually psychological or mental health. So it's actually important to mention, yes, social order is very much related to psychological impact. I'm not the expert in that area, but I read many reports are saying that it is interrelated. So fair access to information can be associated with the right. Those who are from law backgrounds are aware of this thing, that fair access of information was marked as a prerequisite of freedom of speech and expression. If you are aware, you will be able to generate your own views. Even if you are not aware, you may not have your own ideology, you may not have your own expression, you may not have your own speech. So for the purpose of fair access to information, it's actually required to be, it's a very, very general observation, and I think an observation that was long back developed when there was no technology. I mean, this type of information technology rather. And even manipulation of public opinion is also possible to be handled. And I mean, robots or even fake accounts are also need to, I mean, can be handled. I think uh, fake account is very common practice nowadays. Then transparency is possible in the case of political advertising and even minority voices. So just a general observation that social and political impact is very much associated. So when you are regulating speech, you need to take care of these elements, how information can be filtered and can be placed before the public, and how it can handle public to have their own opinion with the transparency. Right to information is there to provide transparency, but I think it's still I mean, there is a need to protect it in other way when we are having on social media or like that. Now it actually spread of extremism and violence. We are again aware, number of times we heard that not everyone is coming and speaking. Why, who are speaking? Those actually who are going to be impacted, or those who want to change the mindset or influence people opinion, are, we could call them extremists, and who want to spread violence are actually behind this. So I mean, you cannot expect a common man who is aware that this is wrong, the information is not correct, why they are doing, are not coming forward and doing these things. There is a need to regulate the speech, because it can handle radicalization and even violent extremism. Okay, I mean, like there are certain groups who are using social media platform for recruitment of propaganda, and technology is now a very good platform. I mean, news groups failed, but they are 101% successful. Okay, then the most I mean I think it should say that it's actually a very important legal perspective, that we used to analyze whether your country is a democratic or not. You have constitution, yes, we have constitution, but whether still we can call it a democratic country. For that purpose, we need to understand that yes, it's a new idea. There was an idea that if you are running in a democracy, if you're calling yourself a democratic country, you have to provide a freedom to the people to speak. Freedom of speech and expression was very important democratic principle. Now you cannot regulate it. Then again, it's going to be now regulation is another element emerging as very important factor of democracy, because as I said, freedom of speech was required, and long back Supreme Court recognized information is a very important prerequisite of freedom of speech and expression. So disinformation, deepfakes, we all are aware that the challenges, of course, I think in the upcoming sessions or the sessions that already were there, they discussed the I mean, use of information technology in developing deepfakes and manipulated medias, and how to find what is fact, what is friction, what is fiction. And even I mean, regulations are also need to be handled with this particular problem, that the foreign interferences are leading to I mean, creating threat to sovereignty even. And that's, I mean, a question is always there. Why we have technology? Long back we were actually really started with that. We are now I mean, completely online. We are not living more in real space. We are living rather we are living in cyberspace. Still we are not cooperating in the way that we should. We are not regulating I mean together this issues of technology. Yes, we are not doing, because it's completely a threat to sovereignty. We are diluting it if we are allowing others, if we are allowing other countries to actually interfere in our matter, then we are diluting our sovereignty. And that's why this is not regulated till this. So lack of regulations, this allows foreign interferences and even echo chambers, because again, those who are really good in technology may simply interfere with it. I just like to again discuss, which I think people are going to discuss even in the upcoming sessions, that the processing is a very big challenge nowadays. And that's why we are not able to handle things, or we are not able to regulate, because law can be, you can frame the laws, but you cannot regulate the behavior. For that purpose, you need to have your own infrastructure. But right now, infrastructure strength is not just dependent on your country's possibility to use technology. It's more than that. So, I mean, accountability is another regulation. Requirement why there should be a regulation of speech, accountability, fact checking mechanism, and journalist integrity. These all are very much associated factor that can ensure the country is very much democratic. There are psychological harm also. As I said, I'm not the expert in that, but certain reports were there which says that digital platform can contribute to mental health issue, especially among youth. I hope Blue Whale and all these were the incident that were really alarming, and that actually tell how youth are really very. They are into it. They want some challenges and they are doing it. When you are interacting with the youth, you must be aware that they have a kind of mindset. Even sometimes when I'm discussing with my students that if you want to work on technology, what issues you can bring, they were really good in it, because they are aware. If they know it, then they can provide a more a grounded solution for this technological challenges. But at the same time, those who are again find it very attractive are vulnerable to it. And this and it's not just the physical harm that can be there, it's a psychological harm. They may turn into criminals. They may be they may turn into a victim, depending upon the target they are for the target they are. Okay. And also, I worked on a paper long back in 2017, and I came across one application, Saraha, because I'm highlighting here cyberbullying, hate speech, and or even violent content. So while I was working on that application, Saraha, initially I saw, I think some of amongst you must be aware about that particular application. It was an anonymous application which can be used for the which could be used for the purpose of sharing your views. The application was created with an idea that when you're not able to say something about your boss, and you have some kind of some kind of feelings you wanted to express about your boss, you wanted to say that this is wrong, this is right. The application was a platform for the employees to say something about employer, and employer will be aware about what their what his employees are facing. But due to its the nature, the application became very popular amongst the youth, and they started using it for the purpose of sharing expression. And the ultimate use was that the kids of 8 years, 9 years, they started using it with the objective of bullying. They started bullying their classmates, their friends, and ultimate result was the death, the suicides happened because of this. So, why? Because how it happened? They simply said your life is useless, you should die, and all these things. Statements were communicated to them, and those who actually got impacted, they committed suicide. So yes, application is not. Immediately the action was taken and it was removed from the social media platform. But it's an alarming incident that says psychological harm are the things that are happening with that are the resultant of speech or unregulated speech. Even there are also possibility that dopamine loops are there. Even false health information or body images can also create some kind of pressures, like if you're taking this particular I saw also, don't take this thing, and some are saying no, take this thing, this will help you to cure your disease. Now everyone is a doctor because Google can help them to find a medicine. At the similar time, they can get the side effects also as an information. So these are also leading to psychological impacts. Algorithmic manipulations are very much possible because of speech. Because there is unregulated speech. age appropriate safeguards are also not there. And I mean, so digital well-being and emotional resilience are also because of these things. Now, I wanted to discuss how, I mean, the laws are regulating it. I will be covering the country-specific laws, how international perspective is looking it, and what are the debates on this particular. So I think just the one important, because if I'm dealing with those who are already aware about the laws, you must be aware that his speech regulation is already there in BNSS, like Section 196 promotes enmity. Is actually handling the enmity. It's actually handling the enmity between the groups. So this particular law criminalizes it. I already discussed that what is hate speech. It defines, and it includes organizing or participating in activities that incite violence. So it's actually a kind of a punishable act. If a person is circulating any information that is targeting religion, race, language, caste, and community, it's punishable. So one law is there that is handling it. And with regard to misinformation and public mischief, there are other provisions like 353 statements conducting to public mischief, or also, false and misleading assertions that harms India's sovereignty, unity, integrity, and security are also a kind of, provision that actually handles it. And there is a punishment as well. Now, false information to authorities is also a part of this Indian regulation, and it penalizes if this act is a deliberate act. We all are aware how criminal laws are looking into the idea of intention, and the outcome of all the actions. These are basically reflected here in BNS. Earlier it was there in Indian Penal Code, and in the absence of any provision, even certain cases, Supreme Court tried to regulate it. So idea is there. Now there is also one law, because again we all are aware that BNS is now taking care of certain act or offenses um, taking place on cyber space, or with the help of internet, or with the help of tech gadgets and all. But in 2000, in the year 2000, with an amendment in 2000 Act, Information Technology Act came into existence. And of course, this a law was there with an idea to legalize communications, but there were sections taking care of offenses um, i mean uh, taking place in cyberspace, or again, as I said, with the help of tech gadgets, tech tools and all. And in the year 2008, they incorporated. Amendment was in 2008. Amendment is known as 2008, and it was it incorporated a provision under Section 66A, which actually was introduced to handle offensive communication, communication that was done with the intention to cause harm, and the information, the speech or the communication which were grossly offensive were made punishable by the amendment in 2008 under section by incorporation of Section 66A in the IT Act. Okay, so yes, this was the section which was later held as unconstitutional. Again, I hope people are aware that Shreya Singhal case was a landmark case where it was considered as unconstitutional, because grossly offensive, the term which was used in the IT Act under Section 66A, was not defined, and it was a kind of vague, and it was leading to arbitrary arrest. So it should be either the role of Supreme Court was to find whether it is constitutional or not. So they held it unconstitutional. But at the same time, they were very much concerned that we need to redefine the term. We need to redefine what are the offensive communication, because again, in this case, you can find, yes, they try to handle the human rights of people, and against the arbitrary arrest. But at the same time, their concern was that we need some laws that can handle online communication. Supreme Court struck down, they did their duty, but we are still struggling to find what is offensive communication. And yes, what happened, I think, again, this must be in the knowledge of some of the people, that even though 66 was struck down by the Supreme Court, but police was still using, and an RTI actually uh, revealed this fact that it is misused. It was being misused, and yes, in 2021, Supreme Court has taken care of it. Another important law that I think we should discuss, I mean, time and again the IT rules of 2021 and how it actually is taking care of these things. So, Rule 3(1)(d) of IT rule is important to be discussed because it allows executive officers to issue takedown orders via Sahyog portal bypassing courts. I mean, the government is, if directing them to remove some content, they are required to take down them. So, I mean, it's actually a kind of intermediary liability as an executive officer to actually remove the content if they find it is if they find that it is it is directed or it is mandated by the government. And bypassing code is important aspect here. Section Rule 4 and 2 is requiring platforms to trace originator of messages. Okay. And Rule 3(2) mandates removal of unlawful content within 36 hours of notice. We will be discussing a bit detail because some of the cases were there where, I mean, like here I've already mentioned that WhatsApp challenged it, and even Twitter filed a case. If something happened, and they all were of the opinion that it's actually not in accordance to the rules. It's actually it's not in accordance to the laws, the human rights laws, and it may be taken as the violative of speech, where they are mandated to remove the content. Where, like as I said, the basic challenge is how to find where the contents are actually a expression of a speech as is guaranteed under Article 19(1)(a), or is hate speech. How to find that thin line is a challenge. In certain cases, we need some kind of framework for that. So, I mean, you can find it was highlighted that I've just taken that it's a violation of separation of power, where the law says that, I mean, judiciary, executive, and legislature should be separate in their separate sphere in action, in persons, or in their in their in their sphere, they should be separate. So there are theories that says it, I mean, directing them and giving them the whole authority to mandate the intermediaries to remove content is not in accordance to the principles of separation of power. People may say there is another theory that separation of power is not mentioned in the Constitution of India. The basic land law of India is not saying we have strict separation of power. And even in number of judgments, the court was also of this opinion that separation of power cannot be considered as a basic structure. So this can be argued, but at the same time, there is another argument that when it comes to when it comes to when it comes to mandating there, we need to understand what is the intent behind removal, and for that purpose, we need to understand what is speech or what is permitted speech. There is also risk of over censorship, which is very much associated with this idea of separation of power, because a platform who is providing an opportunity to people to express their views, to express their ideas, is a platform which was generated not under control of anyone, and they have given this platform for the purpose of allowing people to make them known and their views. So, I mean, if we analyze these foods, they are somehow risking the, their over censorship. So on the basis of this analysis, you can find there are several challenges because, as I said, moderation is there, like pre-moderation, post-moderation, AI moderation, hybrid moderation is there. So, I mean, what are the challenges? Because one challenge I think is known when it comes to cyberspace, and that challenge is very much related to, this thing that when you talk about challenge, you need to understand it's actually a borderless space where you cannot just travel, and there will be a person at the border and will say, now you are entering in America, you are entering in European Union or any other place where you can actually be taken care of your uh, own border. But I think when it comes to information, there are two theories also which we need to understand, like the theory of, I think the Indian theory, I should say, that information is free. Okay, you cannot charge for the information you are sharing. Our Ayurvedas and are not also taking care of this idea. I mean, even the idea behind this uh, indigenous knowledge, or the knowledge that we are getting from that are passing from one generation and two generation is based on this theory that knowledge should be free. You cannot charge for that. Okay. In the same time, there are people, the Westerns, they believe the knowledge is not free. You have to charge for whatever information you are generating, for whatever information you are creating. You have all the rights to that. And even the intellectual property law is based on that also, that if you are creating knowledge, you should be paid for that. So, the theory, whether it's going to be, both the theories, is it possible to go on one theory? No, it's not possible. You cannot say knowledge is free. Okay. And you cannot say knowledge is not free. You need to understand that when you are saying knowledge is free, you are affecting the intellectual property rights, number one. Number two, when you're saying knowledge is free, you are affecting other rights side to property also. Like if you are spreading the information about my account number, that is also information. Then you cannot say it's going to work. Knowledge is not free. In the similar way, when you are saying knowledge is not free, you are actually affecting the freedom of speech and expression of individual. We are taking it as a debate in in the coming slides. So, the challenges, we all are aware the challenges are like billions of posts daily make manual moderations impractical. It's not possible. Even AI cannot, artificial intelligence is, as people are saying, whether sometimes we find it more intelligent than us, uh, we can say, but I don't agree with that, because they are our creators. We are creating them, sorry, we're creating them. So they and moreover, they are artificial. We cannot call them as intelligent as a human being, because they are lacking emotions and all. So handling them with the help of AI can provide solution to some extent, but there are limitations. And manual moderation is not possible, because millions of posts are generating. So one challenge associated with the enforcement agency is this, and they cannot keep a watch on the on intermediaries action. They can merely do whatever they are doing right now. We need to still understand what are the practical solution of this problem, that when they are mandated by the government, they are removing the content. The second is defining hate speech or misinformation is context dependent. Okay, it depends what is hate is what may be hate speech for a particular in a particular context, may not be a hate speech in another context, may not be a hate speech in another geographical border. So geographical border geographies are also having different kind of social cultural ideologies, and that makes it very difficult to call hate speech. And what is hate speech for India may not be a hate speech for Americans. So if something happens in America, we may not be able to control their speech, because for them it's not a hate speech. I mean, these are the challenges always emerging on social media platforms, internet or cyberspace, whatever you're calling it. The next is basically platform struggles to balance free speech with compliance. As I said, I mean, it's social media or any other site which provides a platform for public to express their opinion. It's very difficult for them to balance free speech. And as another important is conflict of laws. A platform is available in all the country. If you're not interested to allow that platform should be used in your country, you can do that. I mean, the government is under their they are empowered to take this decision whether to allow any platform to be as a platform for expression in their country or not. So they are free to take decision. But for a platform, it's not possible to restrict their access to them. They can do to some extent, but not actually as we are expecting from them. And that's why managing free speech or balancing free speech is very difficult. They can do to some extent when it comes to their own country, but they cannot do when it comes to the balancing the laws related to free speech when it comes to, I mean, the conflict, to handle the conflicts between two nations. And also, like, India's multilingual population is making it very challenging in India. And automated moderation is not possible. A lot of differences are there in our the language that we are speaking, and the language and even the script they are using. However, again, AI is a solution, but still we are struggling. So, I mean, just kind of enforcement solution. And so many challenges enforcement agencies are facing, like we all are aware. I mean, it's not just the one thing. Now let's discuss international perspective, and I'm just taking care of United Nations, and I find I shouldn't say that they are not doing well or they are really doing well. It's again a matter of perspective, how you are looking into it. And our duty is to do some research, to provide suggestions, to understand the problem, and to understand their role. So, United Nations has a global principle for information integrity. Okay, it was launched by UN Secretary General, and the objective behind this global principle for information integrity was to combat online hate, misinformation, disinformation. Okay, and the same time, the major objective associated with the role of United Nations is to protect human rights. We all are aware that United Nations was the body that influenced a lot uh, to our constitutional frameworks, and we are very much concerned about human rights perspective. I think the history tells this. As I worked with the Sikkim Human Rights Commission, and there I was with the chairperson of human rights. Still, I'm in touch, and what I had find from him is that it depends upon a particular state how the people are taking care of it. Okay, because human right violation is, I mean, it's not just area specific or space specific, like it. Human right violations are taking place in offline space or online space. Everywhere it's there, and wherever people are finding the way to violate the rights, they are doing it. So, how to manage it was basically the idea. And they said information integrity is most important. I mean, the truth is uh, will be more protective rather than it's, if it is misinformation, disinformation, or if it is hate speech, it's going to affect violation human rights in a huge way. There were certain key recommendations I wanted to discuss, and these recommendations are emphasizing on very important principle of human rights, like the freedom of speech and expression, freedom of expression, transparencies, and of course they are emphasizing that you cannot talk about freedom of expression, transparency, unless and until you have cooperation. So the United Nations actually is emphasizing on the multi-stakeholder cooperation. And why? Because a safe digital space will be a place where you can see the human rights are protected, violations are not taking place. So recommendations were there. I mean, again, it can be another area of research for the law scholars who is a journalist now. Okay. I mean, now everyone, we used to say, yeah, everyone is a journalist. Now you are spreading information, you are uploading status, you are saying this happened and that happened. You're taking pictures, you're recording videos and making people aware. You're playing the role of journalists. But yes, the traditional definition of journalist is also there. Again, as I said, it's a matter of research. But yes, the key recommendation was they wanted to protect the information and they wanted to ensure that accurate informations are reaching to a common man. And that's why they said protection of journalists is very important. And actually, we need to understand there is a media pluralism. One media may advocate for one happening, for one incident, another media may actually criticize that. So we cannot say this media is correct, that media is wrong. Okay, we need to understand that media pluralism is there, and not we need to understand, even as I said, I mean, if my country is having a particular policy, then I'll say this policy is correct. But in another country, if they have a different policy, their media will say that our policy is wrong. So we need to understand that there is media pluralism, and that's why United Nations emphasize on the accuracy of information only, and by recognizing the media pluralism. Okay, your perspective may be different, but information cannot be changed. If there are death of 4 people, both the media should say that it's a death of 4 people. But whether it was in accident or whether it was a deliberate act, whatever it was, that can be a perspective based on their plurality, their ideology, their ethics, whatever it is. Then even they are also emphasizing on their recommendation, emphasize that design uh, platform should be designed with safety and privacy by default. So privacy and safety should be the part of every platform. I mean, I think if you are on different social media platform, you must be finding it. They have their privacy policies, they have their safety policy, and even they apply policies consistently across language and regions, as this is another very important challenge, or it's actually a crucial challenge rather, associated with the social media platform, digital platforms, or even cyberspace. Transparency, ethical principles, transparencies, or even the rights should be protected when there is a deployment of AI tools. Again, another area of research, how far AI is going to protect, be transparent, and protecting the rights, respecting the rights, and be ethical in their actions. And but yes, they are asking the designers of AI tools, boards, that they should be designed in a way that they should be transparent, ethical, or having a right respecting approach. Even, I mean, in the case of, I think this is their recommendation. We cannot avoid keeping this particular recommendation in the, in their document. But yeah, very difficult providing funding harmful content. It's very common practice. And for that, they said that digital and ecosystem should be taken care. And again, children are the vulnerable section of the society, male or female children, whoever they are, they are vulnerable, and special measures should be taken. Even I think long back we were discussing how IT will be able to know, how, I mean, technology will be able to know whether he's a children or not. That is still very difficult. We don't have any kind of biometrics associated with the use of the mobile, and we are not still having that kind of any development in the research. But only that is possible. If you're asking my age, if I'm entering into social media platform and I have to enter my age, I may write 18 years, I may write 24 years, 60 years, 70 years, whatever. And based on my input, they are allowing me to access it. So it's a very important concern. Emphasis on this was required, but a challenge, but still a challenge. And yes, as I said, they are vulnerable in two sense. Either they may turn into a criminal or a victim. So they are vulnerable, whatever is the nature. United Nations, after that, European Union. I find European Union comparatively advanced, and I think most of the people will agree that their approach is more human rights based approach. They are taking care of the rights. They are, yes, United Nation. Unlike uh, Asian countries, we are fighting with each other. We have we have a different kind of approaches. We are fight. I mean, we are not liking each other. But European Union, I mean, the union. Yes, they are not an independent country, but they are working together, and they are working for the their welfare. May not be in conformity with our requirement, but they independently they are working for their welfare. Their laws are comparatively, inspiring us. So one important rule of Digital Service Act DSA is very important to be mentioned here, because it is regulating very large online platforms and like Meta, Google, and X, and they are taking care of this speech specifically here. One action I find everywhere. It's not just India, whether it's a small country or big country. Even China is having a different policy, but they are regulating it, however, in their favor, but they are doing it. So one action is removing illegal content. Okay, immediately. Then they are addressing systematic risk like disinformation, algorithmic amplification. Okay, so they are very much concerned about addressing the issues of disinformation. They are also trying to ensure transparency and moderation of the content, and also algorithmic decisions. Okay, and for that purpose, for compliance with their DSA, they have the punishment in the form of fines. Okay, and very important, you can find 6% of global turnover. Even European Union is also having this code of conduct on hate speech. Of 2016, which was ultimately updated in the year 2015, and they are taking care of it as the contents. Okay, and the this is, I mean, the previous, if you find, it's actually sorry, it's a Digital Service Act which is saying what action or mandates can be taken, while in the second code of conduct they are asking them that if you want your access in our country, so you need to enter into an agreement. I mean, they are making people to agree with them with the liability. Like I've just highlighted some of the platform that they cannot say that they are not allowed to say, I don't do this. This is our policy. No, if your platform is going to be reflected here, you need to remove flag hate speech within 24 hours. So I mean, they themselves are making they're making their action binding. They are making them to accept the laws, and even they need to accept that the action can be taken against them, and the European Union will be very much concerned about the stronger enforcement of the laws. See, I mean, code of practice is also taking care of disinformation. It's not just a hate speech. Hate speech you have to remove within 24 hours. And if you're not removing, strong action can be taken against you. So with regard to disinformation, this was actually majorly signed. Major platform, like they signed it, and even civil society groups are also taking care of it. They may have their websites, their information channels, blogs, and all, and their commitment is to demonetize disinformation sources, to boost fact checking, to ensure transparency in political ads. I mean, I think uh, it's actually possible. I mean, if you compare it with our country, you can say it's possible for them. They have technological equipments, they are advanced, they have infrastructure. A country like India with huge population, And I mean, if you create one platform, a lot of people will be actually there on that particular platform. Yes, it's actually, it can be a very, it can be a kind of challenge, but is still taking, they are actually providing that demonetize disinformation sources. And also, I mean, when you are allowing anyone to provide information or to enter, to actually add some kind of information, you need to fact check whether the information they are uploading is correct or not. And also, when it comes to political ads, you need to be again careful, because you are making people believe on the information provided by your platform. Like if you're purchasing anything on, let's say, Amazon, it's a platform, it's a huge platform for seller to sell their products. And what we are believing, we are not actually taking care of who is the seller. We are saying, okay, Amazon is providing this particular thing, it must be actually, I mean, correct. So whether they are fact checking or not, we are not actually entering into that particular kind of analysis, but we are relying on the platform. So I mean, commitment on the part of platform is very important. I'm just talking about the commerce, it's e-commerce, but also when it comes to information, the platforms are playing very important role. I mean, I heard many a times my mother is saying, I read it on Facebook, I read it on you know uh, WhatsApp. So number of times I told, no, it's actually not a place where you are getting correct information. You need to check it. So, I mean, this is the common belief of people. As a law faculty members, as a law researcher, as a law student, we are aware, but we should know that people are not aware. They are vulnerable for this. So the role of intermediary becomes important. And of course, not just because they are under an obligation, they need to protect human rights as well. I just wanted to give a comparative overview how I mean they are approaching, what are their approach towards these things. So I mean, United Nation is a body. It's actually a platform uh, for, I mean, they are trying to do their duty. They are providing kind of a model for all the nations. They are uh, this is the institution created for human rights protection. They wanted to tell what are various human rights. They did their job in introducing time and again that this can be a new human right. So their approach is basically right based approach. Their principles are based on the human rights, and they are working on the idea of global cooperation. They are saying artificial intelligence cannot be controlled. We are with AI. We know the potential it is having. We cannot deny that artificial intelligence is going to be really a very helpful kind of, you know, um, I mean, thing that we need to understand. But regulating it is important, and that's why they simply came up with this idea of ethical artificial intelligence. However, European Union is more on regulatory approach, and they are, emphasizing on enforcement of the principles or the law or the provisions or the rules they are incorporating. So they are creating legal obligation. Like I've just cited that they are asking the big platforms to enter into an agreement, and if they are violating what they agreed upon, then fines will be there, and transparency mandate is there, that you should know why it's actually removed, why it is not removed, and all these things should be there. Now USA is a different kind of approach. I am not bothering, you have to, I mean, in that way you have to self-regulate it. So I mean, in this way you can say their first amendment protection is there. The platforms moderate voluntarily how you have to handle, the code is there to take care of this. I mean, a different kind of approach. USA is linked more on business approach kind of. So they are open for all the platforms, but you have to handle it. So is there some more countries like Germany or uh, how they are approaching it? Like Germany, I've cited, I read that, I mean, their NetzDZ law mandates removal of illegal content within 24 hours. I mean, how far it is successful is another matter of research. Yes, still they are taking care of it, and 24-hour limit is actually a max limit they have given. European Union is a bit balanced because we already read the SA is enforcing transparency, and they are emphasizing on the rights of users. USA is a bit lenient because they are having this approach, you have to mandate by yourself. Okay, UK is on drafting mode, and China is authoritarian country, so different approaches there. Now let's discuss some incident involving Twitter takedowns and WhatsApp misinformation in India. This particular section is only, collected the informations related to the incidents just for information. So this particular section is going to highlight the legal, social, and technological dimensions related to misinformation in India. First, I have taken the Twitter takedowns. This was related to farmers' protest takedown of actually what happened. The Ministry of Electronics, MIT, and even MEITY, they ordered Twitter to block 1,178 accounts, and they said that this block actually blocking is required because these accounts are spreading informations that are not correct and leading to incitement or provocation in the public. Uh, Twitter initially registered, but because they said it's a freedom of speech and expression, and they should be allowed to share their concerns or their opinions on Twitter or social media account, but then they complied it partially. Even there is another incident of Congress toolkit controversy where, I mean, Twitter का कहना ये था कि it's actually a manipulated media, and his tweet was not correct, and I mean these were where things I think people are aware. So basically, here there was a controversy. Why I'm saying, because the government accused Twitter of acting as a judge and investigator. Why you are deciding when it is mandated that the by government to remove it? Okay, Twitter is saying that it's actually intimidation tactics, and it's a freedom of expression which is going to be violated. So, however, as I said, the IT rule of 2021 were the main reason on or the ground on which the government was directing. So it happened. Can be a very important uh, uh, a kind of important, you can say, example for analyzing the situation and how a law needs to be modified in the future. There is also, information, incident like Twitter 2021, a lot of requests were there. Okay, and related to, targeting tweets, and journalists were actually sharing the news, and they were, targeted to remove their news and to remove their information. Twitter, flagged even concern over freedom of expression because they said this is the platform where anyone can come and can share their opinion. Okay, especially when content from journalists or activists are targeted. We need to understand that, as I said, informed media is possible when it is journalist, and we need to understand journalist, media, or whatever are you calling it, they have plurality. One may support, other may not support, and our opinion is also dependent upon our ideology. I may support one journalist, another person may not support it. So media plurality is there, and again, I've started with Bill, and I said long back said that when it comes to speech, it should be there, it should be protected. But when it comes to speech, we need to understand that not every speech should be permitted. So how to regulate whether, saying every time by Twitter that it is freedom of speech and expression which should be protected is correct, or whether Twitter is also under an obligation to handle the plurality as well as the hate speech, misinformation, disinformation. So many things are there, because people are not just sharing their opinion, they're also sharing information, and sometimes informations may lead to some kind of happening incident. For that purpose, this is there. Anyways, there is also Twitter and Indian government's legal clash of 2020. I wanted to highlight. A writ petition was in Karnataka High Court was filed, and there was, writ petition by Twitter. Just give me a minute. So, Twitter filed this writ petition because it wanted to challenge the blocking order issued by the committee. And under Section 69A of the IT Act, as I think people are aware that IT Act provides this power to the government to ask the intermediaries to remove a particular content on certain terms. So, the order was issued and it was challenged by Twitter. So, this order was directing to block almost 1,474 accounts and 175 tweets between February 21 to 22. And the ground, as I said, is already there mentioned in the IT Act, and they have taken it here also, that these tweets are, affecting the public order and national security, and that's why the Twitter is directed to remove that. Twitter is saying that, all the time, it's actually a matter of freedom of speech and expression. So the order which was issued by METI is manifestly arbitrary, because it is not providing a ground and it's lacking transparency and due process. I just highlighted these two terms, especially arbitrary, why it is arbitrary. And when it comes to asking them to remove, principle of natural justice should also be followed, so that they should be provided an opportunity. Why? It's actually considered to be misinformation. So it argued blocking entire account is not necessary. We can remove that particular part of motion which is considered to be going to affect public order or national security. Okay, so the court examined the case, and they didn't find the Twitter's petition within the legal limit, and they said it's actually devoid of merit. Why it is devoid of merit? Because blocking entire account is valid under Section 69A. There is no such limitation on the mandate that it should remove only that particular portion. Further, notice to user is also not mandatory when it comes to Section 69A. And also, since Twitter delayed compliance, and it's actually need to pay for that. So I think if he analyzes the court's order, we'll find that the court was of the opinion, the law that came in, that is coming into in this picture, is that when the court finds, or when it is actually misinformation, disinformation, or whether it is hate speech, the immediate action is required on the part of the government to mandate the platform to remove the content. And the government needs to take care of the human rights. The intermediary needs to take the the liability to take care of the action, that because it's not the government who is providing platform just to it's the duty of the government is only to ask the platform to take care of, and the platform is providing a place of freedom of speech and expression. That's why it needs to take immediate action. So the two principles are coming are the outcome of this judgment. And on the basis of this, we can see the law, or this particular case is saying that the platforms are under limitation. Okay. And the law in India is actually interpreted by the court as it limits the platform's autonomy. Number two is it actually reaffirmed the government's authority to enforce content takedown in national interest. I mean, you can see the law, the IT Act is providing under 69A mandate to the government to take action immediately, and a mandate to the platform to act in compliance with the direction or the mandate of the government. So the court endorsed the same principle and said that it can be done in national interest. So, I mean, in the same time, these are the positive aspect, but the case is also highlighting the legal risk for tech platforms who are resisting compliance within Indian laws. As I said, I mean, the platform may not be an Indian platform all the way. Indian government may have only one action then to restrict the access of that particular platform in their country. But the platform may say that no, I am based on this particular country where it is actually permitted, so I'll not take action. I'll not act in accordance to your direction. So I mean, these challenges we are going to face in future, or we are facing also. The next, I just discussed the Twitter because, but WhatsApp we used to heard. I mean, we are hearing WhatsApp University is there. So, I mean, why we are calling? Because its misinformation was very quick at a particular point of time. So, just some incident related to WhatsApp misinformations and their social impact, and even because I hope when you check your mobile, you will find the one-to encryption is 1-to-1 like that. I mean, continuously they are communicating the WhatsApp. So encryption debate, we are going to enter into that. Now, I mean, the incidents of mob lynching, I hope those who are well versed with the provisions of uh, BNS are aware that now, uh, the legislature has taken care of the issues of mob lynching, but there was a time when mob lynchings were taking place, and even viral, access about the child kidnapping. They were spreading the information along with the pictures of some people that this lady is carrying a child, and it doesn't looks like his child, I mean her child, or even with the men also. And even some pictures were shared like they are the organ harvesters. And I mean, when the informations are circulating, we are not aware that who is going to read it and who is going to circulate. There are people who are always on WhatsApp, and whatever coming to them, they are sending in the groups. And when the informations are circulating, when the misinformations are circulating, it is creating, of course, havoc. And what happened, there are I mean, the reports are saying there are almost 30 plus deaths are linked to misinformation fueled mob violence. There are certain notable incidents, some not Palghar incidents with our intelligence, Karbi, and along I hope I'm just taking few only. People are aware more than, I mean, this, they must be having some kind of information. Some must be a researcher. They can actually cite a lot, cite a lot has happened because of this misinformation through WhatsApp. So I mean, I just have taken it as something that happened in our country because of misinformation. I mean, how misinformation is circulating and what actually it's doing. So I mean, these incidents can be examined, and you can understand the digital misinformation. So if someone is coming and saying this happened, I may not take action. I may take action, I may not take action. But if I'm getting information on WhatsApp, I may I may circulate it. Again, I may not take action, I may not even circulate, but it's not me with whom they are sharing. They are sharing with number of people, so they are continuously sharing. So digital misinformation, when it is in low literacy or rural areas, it may actually be dangerous, very dangerous, because they are governed by their emotions. Also, I mean, digital literacy is very important nowadays. People are not bothering whether they need to check the fact or not, and they are, I mean, they are not even understanding their responsibility when they are circulating information. So digital literacy is there, but digital literacy is not there. We need to understand digital literacy is not just how to use your mobile. It is there how to use your mobile, what settings you need to do, where, what permission you need to do. It's not just this, it's now more than that. Digital literacy includes the fact checking habit. I am saying this and I'm not doing it. This is the fact. Most of the time I'm ignoring, okay, this is the fact. Okay, let me check what is the information. Oh, it happened. Sometimes I'm forwarding it without fact checking. I may not be aware how to do that, where to go, which particular application can be used, or website can be used for the purpose of checking. People are not digitally literate in that sense. So this incident, incidents are highlighting this as a second issue. The third is basically, when it comes to technology, I mean, we need to understand they are also, I mean, the countries are not, I mean, I think I should cite the example of Bangladesh. Okay. Or even a lot of countries can be cited to know, I mean, Myanmar and all, where, I mean, digital illiteracy or digital use of digital media or digital misinformation turned deadly. I mean, this can be a reason of understanding, or this can be cited as one thing, that regulation of misinformation is very important. The law that was there long before to handle misinformation is have no value. It is very limited in misinformation to government and all these things. Now digital misinformation is actually deadly. So I mean, there is a lot needed on the part of them. Now another incident of disinformation, because here in this I mean Kerala case, there were a fake rescue numbers, and celebrity donations were there, and I mean it impacted the rescue efforts also. Then the army asked the people to kindly, please avoid, I mean, this kind of misinformation. Okay, there is also need to discuss the privacy policy panic of January 2021. Okay, and I think this is again happened because we all witnessed this particular incident when the WhatsApp announced its update on privacy policy. Okay, and it's here said that it would share more data with Facebook, and its which is its parent company. Okay, so what happened? People started interpreting it, and we started getting posts like Facebook could read users' private chats, and this could be very dangerous in certain cases. And the resultant was basically we started the possibility of, or we started exploring other platforms, or even we started getting messages. Okay, better to join Telegram, Signal. They are protecting our privacy. They are not violating our rights, and whatever chats we are in, we are doing, we will be, I mean, chats will be protected. So this confusion was actually, I mean, this was misinformation, and even targeted also the WhatsApp's business of messaging. Okay, and it's okay, it was their business that got affected. They can recover. But the panic in the public was something that couldn't be handled in many places. Okay. I mean, as I said again, digital uh, illiteracy is there. People are not aware from where they can get right information. For them, WhatsApp is a university. For them, Facebook is a university. Whatever information they are getting is correct. Even I saw many a times everyone is sharing on their status that Facebook is doing this and that. I mean, long back now, they are aware. People are not. I'm not coming across the incident right now, but in 2010, 11, 12, I myself saw people are sharing that. I mean, you can share only this much information if you are sharing more than 2 posts and 3 posts or 10 posts in a month. They will start charging you. I mean, so many misinformations were, I mean, things were there that were circulated as misinformation. So Even today also, the major challenge is the panic in public and their digital illiteracy in that particular sense. Okay, even the reports are saying that the 79% surge in downloads in Signal. Okay, Telegram also gained million of users globally. And then WhatsApp came up with this idea to make people aware that end-to-end encryption remained intact, okay, for personal messages. And the update only affected business interactions using WhatsApp's enterprise tools. And I should say, I mean, when it comes to private messages, WhatsApp is now even circulating this information that they could read private message or listen to calls. I mean, no one could. No one could read private messages or listen to their calls that were doing. I think uh, I should say that if you need to do private call, it's better to avoid phone calls and do it on WhatsApp. It cannot be recorded. It's actually safer in its nature. So I mean, this episode, if you read that what happened in WhatsApp, it highlights the of course, on the one hand, it makes people panic about the incident, but also it is showing that people are actually aware about the rights of privacy. Puttaswamy case is also there where you can understand it's actually was used even to make, where court said right to privacy is a fundamental right. Now people are getting aware because there is a judgment, but this incident is also responsible for making us know that privacy awareness was there, and that's why people started finding a way out of this. And also, data monetization, platform trust, these also were can be cited some of the outcome related to this incident. Okay, and even people's approach, surveillance is again not the discussion of 2025, 2020. Long back in 1990, from 1990 people were talking about surveillance, and initially the government was, not in India exactly, but in USA, European Union, especially the USA, though they were really very much into it, that they wanted that whatever information you are sharing, whatever business you are renting, you need to make them aware. And then surveillance controversy with our surveillance debate with the right to privacy was also, there in the picture since long back. Now everyone is aware. Now even we are aware because we are getting information on social media. Long back it wasn't there. It was just between the intellectuals, so-called intellectuals, it was there. So the third point is WhatsApp delayed the policy rollout by 3 months because they wanted to address it. And even digital, for some of the people, it was a wake up call. Now this WhatsApp incident is also, making us to move on and to discuss this. Not the privacy, it is important. Encryption and traceability debate is also there because, as I said, that when it comes to when it comes to the liability of the intermediaries, they are under an obligation not just to remove the post immediately, in some cases 24 hours, in some cases 36 hours. It's more than that, to trace the original source. So encryption means I am protected. No one is going to know what I am sharing, what I am talking. Traceability means I am not protected, my privacy is not protected, and they are going to trace this original source. So if I'm talking in my bedroom, in my drawing room with one of my friend, no one is going to check what I am talking. But if I'm talking the same thing on, let's say, WhatsApps or any other social media platform, I'm traceable. So this is the debate. The government is demanding, because Section 69 is a crucial power of the government to ask any intermediary to remove their content. Okay, it's a very, very crucial. So government is actually saying that Section 69A of IT Act, The Indian government is asking for traceability. I should say the ability to identify the first originator of a message on platform like WhatsApp. As I said, if I'm talking in my drawing room, bedroom, or in my house, I'm not traceable. No one is bothering whether I'm discussing about national security or whether I'm discussing about the personal incident of my life. No one is going to trace me. But if I'm discussing something, maybe my personal, which can be further, I mean, in the form of chat, and which is circulated because it was an alarming situation, my friend wanted to share it with others, then I am traceable because I will be the first originator. I'm the one who typed that. The second point is basically related to the goal, that is how to combat misinformation, child exploitation, and even national security threat. So, I mean, the government is also targeting to handle the misinformation. And I think again, it's important to mention that basically when it comes to technology, of course, before technology also, there were news groups which used to advertise for the jobs, and they use the same for uh, catching the prey. And who were they prey? The child, most of the time. Those who were under 16. I mean, the job of modeling is available, and you have to apply you with your pictures, and then the interview will be conducted in such and such city. We will provide you a vehicle and everything. And the child who wanted to enter into modeling was, without informing their parents or their guardians, are actually going, and they are victim. Now the digital media platform is doing the same. So child exploitation is, of course, another area which government is demanding, and this demand was a part of IT rule 2021, and some sections were incorporated. Now, WhatsApp was not actually ready because, as I said, the panic situation make even WhatsApp realize that they may lose their business. So they said that end-to-end encryption is very much important because it ensures sender and receiver can read their messages, and this also enable. I mean, if they are enabling traceability, okay, then they need to break encryption. Without breaking encryption, it's not possible to trace the original source of information, okay, and which is a violation of their privacy policy which they entered with each and every WhatsApp user. So, I mean, according to them, it's a kind of mass surveillance because we may be able to know the personal chat of an individual, which will force WhatsApp to track every message. So, I mean, there was one case, and I would like to highlight that in High Court, when this was a controversy between them, they highlighted two, three things like they need to exit India if forced to comply. Okay, the action was that the government argued that traceability is proportional and necessary for law enforcement. And WhatsApp answered it as that traceability would require, their database or digital fingerprints of messages to find these things, and it's actually incompatible with encryption and vulnerable. So even sharing metadata was also one of the point here. Now, I just wanted to discuss how, what is the broad implication of this case. So this debate reflects a global tension between privacy and security because privacy with security, because I mean, again, as I said, when we talk about surveillance, it's an argument for security, national security. And when we talk about keeping our information protected, is basically the argument based on the human rights of privacy, or the right to privacy. So the case when the government started demanding for finding the original source of information, which is very important in uh, many a times hate speech misinformation is not just one human right violation of an individual. It may affect the human rights of many. So it is I mean, as I said, regulation is very difficult right now because we are not aware what is misinformation, what is hate speech. We have an idea that hate speech is going to affect many people, and this is basically a target based on the religion, race, caste, gender. I mean, all these things are there. And misinformation is basically when people are not aware about what they are doing and they are simply circulating. Like I said, if I'm receiving a message on WhatsApp and if I'm communicating it further, if I'm circulating it further, I am doing it without any intent to cause or to commit any crime, right? So I mean, it's something which is I mean needs to be regulated. But in the light of these two terms, the privacy and security, and it's not India, it's everywhere that they are taking care of security issues. Now it's more than just the security, because WhatsApp has responded this whole thing in a different way. They wanted to regulate and they wanted to protect the privacy, encryption and all. I think again, I mean, something very known to everyone, you cannot forward. I mean, when you're forwarding a message, you will get the message already forwarded long time. So you are allowed to forward it one time. So information can be slowed down. I don't know. I mean, the slowdown is possible, but whether it is going to stop circulation, I mean, what I don't think. I don't know on what ground they believe that it's going to control it. Anyways, and even saying that we will not permit you to forward it further is not going to serve the purpose, because I mean, slow down is possible, but spreading is not possible. And they are merely, I mean, skipping their liability to misinformation. Okay, awareness campaigns were there, full page newspapers, ads, warning against fake news were there. Okay, I mean, so many things were there. So this particular issue of WhatsApp actually provide a debate on regulating, I mean, online hate speech, misinformation, and content moderation, which I'm going to take in my next section, and especially specifically targeting between freedom of speech versus harmful speech from legal, societal, and global policy perspective. Okay, so what is expression and how it is Okay. Thank you. I hope now I'm audible because I was just trying to call and
Hello.
yeah, actually I got disconnected.
Yeah, ma'am.
I
Not an issue, ma'am. It happens sometimes. So now you please carry on, ma'am. Thank you so much.
thank you. So we're just discussing expression versus protection, and I mean because I mean the whole discussion revolves around the speech, freedom of speech, and I mean where it needs to be protected because we all are aware that Article 19 in our Constitution provides freedom of speech and expression, and this is a kind of a protection also. So, I mean, where it needs protection, and moreover, when you say speech, we all are now debating hate speech, misinformation. So, how expression is actually in and in conflict with protection. So, I mean, as I mean, of course, I started with this particular expression that when we say about speech and expression, we need to understand how it was looked before. Okay, and I already started with this point that this John Stuart said that speech should be protected, but we cannot ignore the possibility of speech that needs to be regulated. So, I mean, he argued that it's actually important for the purpose of knowing the idea that is circulated amongst the people. So, expression, when we say speech and expression, the main point is how do we preserve open discourse in a democracy while protecting individuals and communities from harm. Because if you are allowing someone like me, if you are allowing whether my speech is going to affect the individual, right? And how I mean it's going to be regulated. So the one discourse is very much I mean this discourse is very much associated the idea of protection. Expression is an expression when it is protecting the others. So I mean for that purpose we need to understand what is harmful and what is harmful and how that harmful can be regulated. It maintains neutrality and proportionality. Like if I'm speaking when I should be stopped from further speaking because it is disproportionate. My right to speak when it is actually entering into the premises of anyone's thought expression or their emotions, I mean its proportionality is affected. So the one principle is who I mean the principle is harmful, what is harmful, and the regulation, how regulation is maintaining neutrality and proportionality, neutrality of thoughts and proportionality of thoughts and protection. Further, in certain democracies, like I mean, the democracies, in all the democracies, freedom of speech is considered to be very important prerequisite of a democracy because it gives very recent case also the court said dissenting opinion is not a hate speech. So freedom of speech empowers dissent. It's not just that you have to go and speak something that comes in your mind. You're writing a poem, a beautiful poem on nature, something like that. It's not there. It's actually more important in a country where you have dissenting opinion. So it empowers dissent, satire, whistleblowing, and even minority voices. Because a majority is protected there. Who is not protected is a minority. Like in a class, if we have 10 boys and one girl, then the girl is in minority may have a different problems than the boys. We need to understand this particular aspect, and this aspect is protected in democracy. So how do we preserve open discourse? Okay, right, while protecting individuals and communities from harm is dependent on these two factors: what is harmful, how you are regulating harmful content, and how you're maintaining neutrality and proportionality. And the second one is the freedom of speech that gives or that empowers the people for their dissenting opinion, for their star expression, for their whistleblowing, and their minority voices. See, if in any democracy any digital speech is unregulated, then it may lead to the happening of hate campaigns. That's very much possible. Viral misinformation during disasters and specifically elections affecting the elections outcome, extremism, radicalization, and even conspiracy driven violence. When persons are not liking someone, they may spread. So these things can tell that there is a need to handle the issues of expression with protection, and any democracy is successful when they are able to address these things. Actually, when we talk about the freedom of expression, and in India, we all are aware 19.1 is there, 19.2 is the restrictions. The restrictions can be in the form of a legislative form. And also we have certain laws like criminal laws that even says freedom of speech and expression can be a fundamental right guaranteed under law, but Article 19 Clause 2 actually gives legislature a power to handle the hate speech. And in our country, we have certain sections that penalizes the public harms, and also the court's role we cannot deny. So just need to understand how other countries are looking into it. So I said, we wanted to discuss a little about United States, and its first amendment offers basically strongest free speech protections, and in a different way, not we have in our country. And even hate speech is a legal remains legal unless it it signs, sorry, speech is a legal one, kindly read it as, unless it incites imminent lawless action. Okay, there was one case where the court actually highlighted. In United States, they are regulating it in a different way, but they actually operates their platform with self regulation. They are not asking them that we are going to regulate the hate speech there. You have to self regulate. But as I said, they are the corporate minds. They are more business oriented. So these platforms are guided by corporate content policies and community standards for the purpose of handling these things. So they are there. Like, even we discuss a little about how protection is provided by the US. So you can understand that their protection is a protection, that we have laws and we have corporate policies. So in the light of corporate policies, you need to protect them. Then comes the European Union, and I already discussed these two laws, like the Digital Service Act and the Code of Conduct uh, rules. Both actually are both are the legal infrastructure, provides the legal infrastructure for the protection of the hate speech, illegal contents, report moderation. And then there is one important Brandon Burke standards I wanted to discuss, which is important because in Supreme Court ruled that hate speech is protected unless it meets a strict test. Okay, they are of this particular idea that your speech is your right. And even sometimes, if I'm saying I don't think this government is going to be very successful, or if I say this man have a different kind of approach towards this theory, like the criminal law is not actually equipped with solid provisions, valid provisions to protect the women. Okay, I may have a speech that is showing a bit hatred, but I need my speech should qualify the speech, these two important tests. One is the speech must be intended to incite imminent lawless action. If I am criticizing a particular law, whether the resultant or the outcome is imminent lawless action, number one. Number two, it must likely to review such action. Either my intention is there or likelihood is there. Then these two things, if are there, then my speech can be called as, open for limitation. Okay, we call it a Brandenburg test, and it remains the legal standard today, right now. So, a question may come in the mind of the people that, the whether this intention and the likelihood can be just the criteria to control the hate speech on, because 1969 is there, whether it's actually still with these two limitation on the speech can be continued in the digital speech space, because I may speak something with not an intention to incite imminent lawless action, because my speech is something that is normal in my country. Okay, and may not even lead to likelihood to produce any imminent lawless action. But when I'm saying something and when someone else is saying the same thing, maybe he is the political leader, maybe he is the social leader, maybe he's a leader who is going to be heard by many, may lead to a lawless action, whether then I should be controlled or not, and whether I have any kind of responsibility about speech that I am expressing or is I'm sharing with public. Of course, something that I think need to be discussed. So I would like to stop my discussion here only, with then open a platform for further discussions. Uh, I think the topic is in itself something that uh, that can be discussed further, because as I started with this particular idea, that I have two propositions. One is whether this because the platform is not just always be the platform which is run by the government agencies. There are private actors also. So government, the human rights based regulation is needed, because government and platform should adopt content moderation frameworks which are grounded in international human rights law, especially the three principles that I have highlighted: the principle of legality, necessity, and proportionality. Because regulation, like I said, the last 2 points, or the test that I have highlighted, were the test where it was said that where it was said that uh, two tests, like the intentional action or intentional speech, or the second was basically the likelihood of the action. So in this particular principle, which I said, as I said, is of course a resultant, or came into existence in the year 1969. How this things is going to be handled by the government or regulated by the government, when we emphasize on the legality, necessity, and proportionality. Because if I am saying something, whether it was legally permitted, one thing, and the second was whether it was a necessity to uh, to regulate my speech, and how much it was allowed, or it should be allowed. Because like in the case of Twitter, where they said that the government requested for removing content, for removing the content which completely, and even the Karnataka High Court was of the opinion, no, complete removal is permitted within the within the provision of IT Act under section 69A. So, whether it is whether the judgment can be called judgment which could prevent the proportionality of the judgment. And also the second proposition that I have taken was duty of care in intermediary liability. Okay, because the Twitter was playing the role of an intermediary, and the proposition was that digital platform should be legally obligated to exercise a duty of care in moderating harmful content, because they need to balance free speech and public safety, where Twitter was arguing that they were asked to remove the content, which means they were required to affect the freedom of speech. And for balancing it with the public safety, they can remove the contents that are harmful in nature. Okay, so I mean, these two proposition I wanted to test, and I believe that the people must be having this idea how to go ahead with the exist. I mean, with the modification in the existing law, and in the light of this particular thing, that right to privacy is also recognized as a fundamental right, whereas freedom of speech and expression was considered to be the one which includes right to privacy. So if someone is allowed to speak, then right to privacy should also not be violated. And the government, when entering into the domain of controlling or regulating freedom of speech, it may lead to violation of privacy. For that, you can cite the example of WhatsApp case against the government, where it was asked to provide the I mean the source, or the source of the originator of the information. So I believe these things can be taken I mean into consideration when we talk about, when we I mean analyze the how online and hate speech, misinformation, and content moderation is going to be regulated. Can we take some of the queries?
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am, for this detailed discussion uh, on the topic on hate speech, uh, freedom of speech and expression, hate speech, misinformation, and you have very nicely explained in detail. So may I now request from the participants, if you have any question, any opinion, any comment, you can just switch on your camera and you can directly discuss with ma'am. Participants, please switch on your cameras. See, this is the nice platform. Yeah, I can see one or two participants, they have switched on the camera. So please unmute yourself and you can directly ask your query, or you can make any opinion or comment. Please.
Actually, it's a highly debatable issue, and we are still struggling with the regulations.
Yes.
And the topic that you have chosen for FDP in itself is something that needs a lot of discussion, and even I mean, you need to, you know, further research, do research on that, and I mean, this research can further lead to
Yes.
the modification in the law.
This is the right platform actually, where we can exchange our ideas and come to the recommendations to each other. And later on, our ideas, either our thought process only will help to make the policies and policy guidelines and frame the laws, which I personally believe. So participants, if you have any query, any comment, anything you can. Yes.
Opinion will be very important right now.
Yeah. Any participants? Any participants? Dr. Shikha Mishra, would you like to ask any question, any comment? No?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hello,
ma'am.
Hanji. Ma'am explained very much in a well manner, and I have no query. Otherwise, I want to ask. Very good, ma'am. I listened whole lecture, and I felt very much good.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shikha, for your comment.
Actually, I
Any-
am in department, and so that I got outside of my cabin.
Okay. Okay. No issue, ma'am. Any other participants? Any comment? Any question?
No, not at my site.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Shikha. Thank you. Okay. So I hope this elaborative session on freedom of speech, hate speech, misinformation, and ma'am has nicely explained and elaborated. She started from argument that was made by John Stuart Mill on freedom of speech and expression. And she rightly said that how awareness is an important thing or an important factor in regulating hate speech. She also highlighted that how these regulations are so important in this era of technological development. To control hate speech, ma'am has distinguished between misinformation, main information, and hate speech. Ma'am has showed her concern on how digital platforms started actually controlling our mental health. She has also focused how this AI technology in digital platforms has violated the rights of the children, starting from the child bullying and etc. She has also rightly highlighted in her discussion the various provisions of Information Technology Act. With the Information Technology Rules 2021, specific focus she had made on very famous Shreya Singhal case, and specifically she mentioned on a very important section of Information Technology Act, that is Section 66A. While discussing the challenges, ma'am have rightly pointed out her observation. I do personally feel, and I do personally agree also, that how it is very difficult and how it become so challenging to automated moderation of the social media platforms because India is a multilingual country. So at last, ma'am has also highlighted the various tests available till date, which are actually followed to diagnose whether a speech can be considered a hate speech or not. Now, this is the time to offer a vote of thanks, official vote of thanks to our guest speaker, today's guest speaker, that is Dr. Nidhi Saxena, ma'am, who is an associate professor in Campus Law Center, University of Delhi. So I extend my deepest gratitude to distinguished speaker, Dr. Nidhi ma'am, for her, excuse me. For her insights, which drawn from both theory and practice, and which have not only deepened our understanding of the law, but have also challenged us to think critically and creatively in today's time. Thank you so much, ma'am. I also take this opportunity to offer my thanks to our Honorable Chairman, Sir, James Engineering Management Technical Campus, Dr. Amit Gupta, sir, for his continuous encouragement to conduct this type of faculty enrichment programs. We are thankful to our campus director, Professor Dr. Sachin Yadav, sir, Registrar Dr. R.N. Najotia, sir, for their valuable suggestions and feedback. My sincere thanks to our respected principal for her academic leadership and innovative ideas. Thank you, Dr. Pallavi Gupta, ma'am, for your continuous support and vision in making this faculty development program a reality. A heartfelt thanks to all the faculty participants for your involvement throughout the day. This is the first technical session. Your thoughtful questions or engagement and perspective have truly enriched this discussion and made this platform a collaborative learning space. So thank you so much, all the participants. And we'll be joining for the second session at 1 p.m. So for till that time, your feedback forms already have been shared in the group itself. You can fill the feedback forms. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Pallavi, ma'am, for providing me this opportunity to interact the institute, the vice chancellor, the registrar, and everyone actually the whole team who is really work. I think it's important to mention that it's not a day effort that actually bring this thing in to be happening here. It's a long effort, and I think it's long back people are doing it and even that touch with this speaker. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you so much for this.